Hey everybody, morning. Looks like we got Logan. Infinity's not first. Whatever Infinity is. Philip, Larry, Don, Arturo, Sergio, Logan again. It's like, let's see. Eric, good morning. Good morning. Donald, Ed, Everett, Wade, Cliff. Hey everybody. Goose is in the house. Lieutenant Colonel Goose. I assume General Rush will be here in a minute. Rungamer, good morning. And pitter patter. It's a crazy day in crypto land. And as promised by the thumbnail and title, let's flip this over. Let's see. I need to do one thing real quick and make this bigger and share the screen. There we go. Check it out. The top 15 NVIDIA customers right here. Who would have guessed that Microsoft was number one? Microsoft coming in there. 15% of all sales go to Microsoft from NVIDIA. 15%. Meta right there coming in at 13%. So 28% of all of NVIDIA sales are between Microsoft and Meta. Two of the mama nats. Interesting right there. I find that very interesting. Amazon coming in down at 6%, along with Alphabet. Alphabet does make their own AI chips, their Tensor cores. Dell right there, Supermicro. Look, Dell, I've been talking about Dell was bigger. Dell's a bigger customer than Supermicro. Check it out right there. IEIT, and Inventec, Cisco, TD, Cynix, Oracle, HP. HP down here. Lenovo, Advent, Atos. So there's a few surprises on here, I thought. It's kind of interesting. I kind of expected Dell to be a little higher. Now everybody's claiming Supermicro is some huge customer. Look, they're only 5%. They're only 5% customer. So you think, I mean, this even adds more fuel to my fire on Supermicro right there. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't know about Microsoft and Meta. I absolutely know Alphabet trying to, you know, and Amazon's probably trying to develop something themselves too. So interesting, eh? Interesting, eh? Anyway, that's I mean, I actually didn't. I wouldn't have guessed Microsoft was the biggest. Meta, I thought, based on all the headlines I've seen lately with their large purchases, but I guess Microsoft loaded up Azure, however you say it, Azure, their Azure cloud, and I guess being able to run those OpenAI models and whatever, trying to roll it out, has become one of the largest customers. Meta right there behind them, and then the rest. And funny enough, Dell and Supermicro, I thought those would be a little higher, but I guess everybody just goes straight to the source, and all the smaller people run through Dell and Supermicro. But that's interesting, though. Dell underperforming Supermicro. That's something we should look at. So, anyway, any questions? Any comments? We'll look at that here in a minute. I wanted to share something with you. Check this baby out. This is a brand new Rectech 1250 grill right there. And it's a pellet grill. It makes some beautiful freaking food. This is the first cook I did. Cooking some pork ribs right there. Beautiful. These were about halfway done in this picture. And then fully done right there. Oh, so good. My intern said that was the best pork ribs he's ever had. And then I did some chicken thighs the next day right there. Last night we did smoked burgers, but I don't even have a picture of that. Well, I do have a picture, but it was before they were done and less interesting. Anyway, so there you go. Moving on. Look at that. I was warning MSTR, if it could hold here, we'd be popping. Look where we are. Dun, 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 pre-market. Dun, 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 right close to the target. I've actually bumped my order up to 950 to close. Full disclosure. And dun, 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 dun. And I have to say, the cooking ribs is not it's not just the equipment. It's, you know, and RecTech didn't endorse any of that. They didn't even offer to endorse any of it. It was just, I saw another YouTuber using the RecTech 700, which was the previous model before they revised them all, and cooking some awesome food. And I was like, hey, I want to try that out. So they put a RecTech 1250 on sale on President's Day, and I jumped on it. Got it delivered Friday, and every dinner we've had since Friday has been on that thing. All about the process. That's right, Aaron. Absolutely. Anyway, let's jump into the lower time frame on MSTR, and you can see we're kind of popping it on up here. Look at that baby go. Oh, little flash down. May get some pullback into the open. We'll see what happens here. BTC, USD, and all-time index. Go check it out. Yeah, a little flash down on Bitcoin. A little bit of reaction coming in here. Yeah. Now, as I've said, we may see a FOMO rally, and that's kind of what looks like is getting going here. People that don't already have a piece, wanting to get a piece. We could carry this right through a new all-time high. We could go to ludicrous levels here. We honestly could. Honestly. The all-time high up here about 70,000. We may find some resistance where we topped out once, twice. As we get into that zone, we might slow down. Of course, we may just pop on through it. I don't know. There's probably some sellers, some bag holders still left from up there. Hard to say exactly what the reaction is going to be. I have an alert right there at about 60,000. That's kind of where we started topping before. Pushed it on up almost to 70,000. So watch out. If we get up in that zone, we may have a violent reaction. I'm not saying we will. We just may. You just be prepared. There's going to be more volatility ahead. You may think, well, this is pretty crazy volatility so far, but be careful, all right? There's the potential for even more extreme volatility coming up here. And we may never look back. That's the other thing. I do expect post halving to get some sort of pullback, but we may not come down here. If we rocket on up, if we're up here, the pullback may be only back testing. All right. Remember, the same fib pattern I always use. We run the previous high to the low, right down there. We may be rocketing up to 83,000, possibly 101,000, and that's getting up close to my target, so like 150 to 300,000 for this whole move. We may pop up in that zone and get the retrace from up there. So just be careful. That's what I gotta say on this. If volatility and crazy big moves is not your bag, I offer a few things for guidance. But if trading that sort of thing, you can't sleep good at night, just stay away. Just stay away. I mean, there's other lower cost ways to play. Stuff like BITO, you can put 25 bucks in. You can play BITX if you want a little bit of leverage on it, but that's also leverage. That'll cut both ways. All right. Just be careful. And I mentioned back here, heck, I think it was back here in November. I said, if you want a crazy way to play Bitcoin, just buy some of this and hold it. I mean, it's a 2x. It's going to be volatile. It's a 2x strategy. You can still buy some here and watch it be ridiculous. All right. That doesn't mean we're not going to see another violent pullback. But if you want a low cost way to play, 38 bucks, you could double it, triple it. But I'm not saying to do it. Just saying it's a possible way to play. Remember, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here is intended to be informational, educational, and fun. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. All right? Anything at all. Don't buy stuff from gurus. Don't buy, unless you trust them. I mean, like, seriously. Like, not all gurus. Some gurus are brand new at this thing. And do they have a long history, or are they just getting in to the game and getting lucky because we're pretty much in a bullish type setup market right now? So Kimberly has made her debut in the chat this morning. Good morning, my lovely wife, Kimberly. Anyway, so don't buy options, don't buy futures, don't buy Forex, don't buy stocks, don't buy any of this stuff, all right? But don't buy treasuries, don't buy bonds, don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. It all involves a substantial risk of loss. And if you desire personal financial advice, that's not me. Don't ask me, all right? I can't give you personal financial advice. You need to hire and consult a financial advisor. I can tell you what I'm doing, but I can't. And, I can give general advice to everybody at one time, but I can't give you specific advice on what you should be doing or trading. Please don't ask me. It puts me in a horrible spot, all right? It's just a regulatory thing. Like, in the position I'm in with so many followers, I cannot give you specific financial advice. All right, looking at the calendar. Dun, 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 dun. Load her up, Buttercup. We have consumer confidence coming out at 10 o'clock. We may see some market movement numbers come out here. Tomorrow, preliminary GDP. I'm nervous, man. Like, I have to say, guys and gals, I don't mean to call any of the ladies man, but I'm nervous about this. If this comes in hot, and then this confirms it over here on Thursday, we could start burning down the market. So just be careful. Things are a little crazy. I've been on this, like, all the pieces are coming together, and this thing is more, I guess, more tech heavy than we've ever been, even in the .com bubble. Just makes me nervous. Super nervous. And the alert's already coming in. Mara. Dun, 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 dun. Coming up. Targets right there. Got a target at 32, target at 35. Be careful. And that's just on the regular mode. You put it in log mode, it's 33, 36. Be conservative on your targets. We could see resistance. Of course, we could go full-blown ludicrous levels. Dun, 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 dun. We could be talking about, that's weird. Wonder why my chart didn't load. Must be 9 gazillion people on here. There it goes. There it goes. Full ludicrous levels. We could go breaking on out. This retrace, 111, 140. Let's see what happens. All right. Be careful out there. Go for conservative targets. Work your way up. If you're in a short term, these are where we're looking. 32, 33, 35. May see a reaction. Of course, we could keep climbing the fib ladder. Talking about 40, 43, 51, 55, 76, which would be right near the all-time high, I think. Oh, no. 83 all-time high. Right near it, but yeah, still significantly less than. If we get up there, we're probably going on out. So keep your time frame and your target in mind. My target right now, right around 150, 140, 150, this area. It's really what I expect. I'll probably make about $1 million on my Mara position if we get to that level. I'm probably going to book it all out. Mara doesn't typically move according to earnings. So you can, we already know what they do. They're not going to announce some kind of surprise way to make money. They don't, it's not like they have sales. There's no real surprises here. They did launch Slipstream, and I feel like there's a reason they launched that ahead of earnings. All right. Here's their mining operations for January. They they basically tell you every month. They're holding 15,741. I mean, they pretty much tell you all the numbers every month. So why would they move much on earnings? They give you all their numbers every single month. They just don't tell us about the debt, or I mean, sometimes they talk about the debt in here, but I don't expect a huge move on earnings. I mean, sure, the bots could take it crazy, but let's be honest. This is not a company where we're going to get surprise earnings. All right, everybody clear on that? Anybody not understand? Let me know in the chat. They mine and they tell us monthly what they're doing and what their plan is. They update the plan every single month when they put out this press release. If you didn't know this is on the website, guess what? About the 5th or 6th of every month, they publish how they did last month. It's just right on their investorrelations.mara, ir.mara.com, and you click on the news and events there. So. But CleanSpark doesn't have a page like this. CleanSpark doesn't tell all their business. They're not transparent. I'm just throwing it out there. Can it move on earnings? Sure, it could. I'm just throwing it out there, all right? And you go to You notice a notable difference in this page. Look. That's like the whole year, all right? There's no monthly updates. There's no like January report. Here we go. January mining update. Much less detailed than Mara's. So they have not historically released these. It looks like they did December and they did a January, and that's it. So attempting to be more transparent, but they have not historically, like they, for what did they do in November? What did they do in October? We don't know. So they've not been a very transparent, and that's why they probably moved more on earnings, because they have not been very transparent. Seems they're trying to be more transparent, similar to Mara, but that has not historically been the way CleanSpark worked. All right. Mara has been very transparent for a long time. All right, moving on. So historically, you can go look at all the earnings. Right here, didn't move. Right here, didn't move. Right here, didn't move. Right here, didn't really move. Right here, didn't really move. Right here, didn't really move. Here, a little pop. Here, dropped after earnings. Here, and mostly this one follows Bitcoin. It doesn't. Earnings don't seem to matter hugely. Like right there, we got this one, earnings dropped. This one, nothing. It's not historically been a mover on earnings. I'm just letting you know. Is there opportunity that it could pop? Sure. Is it probably more dependent on Bitcoin moving than Mara moving? Absolutely. Absolutely. Could the move today be muted because of the earnings coming up? Maybe. So, right. Trying to break out here. Trying to break out. It'd be really nice to see this one push a little higher, then get the bigger extension, 23. Not sure it's going to do it, but be nice to see. This looks like it's a 5-wave up. We may top out somewhere in this 19. We may make a marginal higher high here and then get a retrace. A little cautious on that. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fives tend to be proportional to wave 1. Wave 1 was kind of small. Wave 5 could extend. It doesn't have to, but we may see it come up shy of this high, retrace before it goes on higher. So anyway, back to the market, right? What we got cooking today? Oh, look at all those alerts. The interest rate creeping up again. This is something to keep up with. I mean, this chart updates weekly, all right? This is a 1 week. We are getting interest rates creeping up. If we get them to break up higher than here, the Fed's probably going to increase rates again. All right? So watch out for that. That's maybe not bullish if we start, like, the whole rally lately has been on the fact that everybody thinks the Fed's done raising rates and we're going to cut rates. What if the narrative changes? I speculated this a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, when I drew these orange and blue lines on the chart. What if, look at the blue line, we could start ramping again. What's that going to do? May see another pullback in the market, and then up here could be the financial crisis. This may be a little hiccup on the way. Be careful out there. Be careful out there. Stock heat map. Year-to-date performance. Check it out. Here's your big performers of the year so far. NVIDIA up 60%. Microsoft up 10%. Meta up 37%. Amazon 15%. Lilly up 33%. How many people are talking about Lilly? Not many. Big performers. So it's interesting, right? So you just go to products. You can go to heat maps on here. Dun, 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 and get this kind of information. All right. Find anything you want. You can get these stock screeners, the heat maps down here, stocks, cryptos, ETFs. This is a stock heat map. I like to just turn off everything that's under 3% and just look at the good stuff. You can do this all year long. I like to kind of focus on the good stuff. I mean, if you're trying to short, you could go looking at the red stuff. Look at these underperformers this year so far. Tesla, ooh. But that may be an opportunity for some of these to turn around and become performers. Just got to be careful. There you go. A little tidbit on how to find some stocks. So, moving on. Not that chart. There we go. S&P, just kind of hovering. I kind of expect that to tag the 5150 target area. Is this the pullback we need before we ramp up? Or are we just going to burn it down coming up shy? I don't know. It's a hard one to guess. It won't surprise me to actually tag the target. S5FI was rolling off yesterday. Be careful. This may be the start of something bigger on the downside. S&P just kind of grinding up here. That's 3 red days. Red day. How many red days before we get a big flush? Now, I had it up last night and I didn't copy it over. The computers, the algos, Bank of America put out their report. If we get a 3% down, it's likely that the algos go into liquidation. So be careful on that one. 3% down trigger. What would that look like? 3% down would be something like right around this level. Back around 49.50. If we get about 49.50, watch out. That could trigger a liquidation on the algos. They're all sitting in profit, basically, loading up from down here. We can see a liquidation event, and that could cause a bigger down. So watch out for that trigger. In fact, I'm going to put an alert down here about 49.60 and actually rename it. Right there. So be careful on that level right there. We could get a liquidation trigger, and that could cause a bigger flush in the market. All right. That's I'm out here looking for this kind of information all the time. Like that. Just that's why you follow me, right? Let me know in the chat if anything I say is beneficial, helpful. The key takeaways. I love to hear your thoughts on all this stuff because it's kind of quiet sitting here in the room by myself. You know, my intern only works 3 days a week. Whereas Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at this point. ES overnight, just kind of chopping around a little bit. We kind of dropped into midnight and got a little rally coming into the open, but we moved flush on down. So we're coming into the 30-minute roadmap line. We were kind of positive, but if we can get below this, we could get an extension lower. See, we were kind of rocking it positive, but we could turn this into something a little more bearish. Please be careful. Please be careful. NQ, NASDAQ looks kind of the same. We did spike a higher high in NASDAQ. So this is, we did make that, look at that, right down, perfect pattern, like on that downside finish move. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right down to the 1618. And then we reversed hard right off of it, right back to an all-time high. Now we're setting up another correction, possibly. This could be just a little correction before we pop another high. Didn't see quite that clean a move. We actually truncated on ES for those of you watching, but we did do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just truncated. We didn't make a lower low. That was kind of like, it was kind of a bummer. I wanted to see the lower low, but I was watching both of these charts at one. I have a screen that I have both of those up in a big panel, and I saw this, and I saw this flush in reverse, but it was sketchy. So the reversal, when all the stars don't line up, it really makes me wonder if what I'm seeing is the right thing or if it's just trying to fake everybody out. Russell, man, what the heck? Getting a strong day. Overlapped yesterday. Didn't leave us anything to trade on the daily trade, but looks like we're going to go on up. Maybe make a run at a new all-time high. It's very choppy, though. We could make a marginal higher high, or we could stall out right here at the prior high from December and then roll over. This looks very choppy and overlapping, and I don't trust it one single bit right now. Small caps, I guess the mainstream media headlines, small caps getting a squeeze. I don't know. That doesn't look like, this over here looks like squeeze. This over here looks like just a ramp. And it's inside that drop right there, mid-February. I don't know. I wouldn't call it a squeeze. That doesn't look like squeeze to me. It looks like maybe it's ramping on all these crypto miners that are in here. CL, still chopping. Still chopping. Gold. Very curious here. We stopped right at the 618, reacted, sitting here. If we can break higher, if we can get up here, get above this, particularly above where we consolidated right here. You see, this is a lower high at this point. If we get above this and then get above this, we just break out of here and go on gold. Could have truncated the bottom here, just like the S&P did. Call it close enough and get out of here. So Bitcoin, of course, being Completely ridiculous. 58,000. Yeah. Next upside resistance area between 62 and 68. All-time high area. And we'll see what happens after that. We did exactly we did path 2. Look at that. Consolidate for a few days. Pop. Right up through the 1618. I'll be darned. The pattern works again. Now, we could find resistance right here. That 58,000 area, like I was saying. Be careful. We could climb the next fib ladder level. I tend to put the charts in log mode when we're moving more than $50, which arguably, Bitcoin moving thousands of dollars is more than $50. We could see a move right up to the next fib level, 68, 73, which could just go full ridiculous. I mean, we could just go full SMCI. I don't even have the fib line turned on. Let's go for it. Dun, 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 dun. Turn on JT standard chart. There we go. And full ridiculous. 112. Full SMCI ridiculous would be a move up to 112. Funny enough, that's where I have the potential echo drawn right there. Interesting. Anyway, Ethereum, maybe find resistance at this 3,500 area. If we blow through it, sets us up to potentially extend up to 7,500. Be really nice. Possibly even 13,000. That'd be really nice. I never found another opportunity to load back up. I liquidated on the uncertainty there. The reaction, never took the chance to load back up. I do have a core chunk of Ethereum that I bought at lower prices. And just kind of sitting and waiting. Sitting and waiting. That may just rip. Beautiful opportunity there. Dollar just churning on the roadmap line. MSTR, like I said, we may get those targets. 900 resistance. And this one seems to work better not in log mode, even though it's moving more than $50. Coming right up to the top of the box. Where does that box come from? It comes from this prior high. Kind of tagging it right there. You may be like, why would it react at prior highs? That's where supply is. People are long from those bag holders, sitting there long from those levels. We have a gap fill sitting over there too that has not really filled since all the way back here in 2021. Right around there, gap fill. So you got people that have been, potentially people have been holding since up here, and they just want their money back. So that's why they'll become sellers at these levels. And that's why we usually see reactions there. BKTX. There's your ridiculous biotech pharma right there. GAA. There's another one. PANW. I took the aggressive entry yesterday after I got off of here. Then news breaks that Nancy Pelosi's buying a bajillion call options deep in the money at 200 strike out to January 25. She's out to, not even on this chart at all. She's out to here at 200. Why would she go that deep? Basically, she's doing deep in the money calls act a lot like stock. And she's saving about 40% off of buying shares straight. You get all the benefits except for dividend payments, which this one doesn't pay a dividend, so you don't have to worry about that. Dun, 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 dun. What is the link for the roadmaps you used? What do you mean? If you want the roadmap, links in the description. And there's an easy button in that channel in Discord when you get in there. You just click the button, add it to your chart. So right there. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's I have a video on YouTube. It's basically 2 EMAs. I do a little fancy coding work to make it an orange line instead of just 2 EMA lines, 144, 169 EMAs. Right there, PANW. We get above this resistance zone right here. It's likely to go on up 413, possibly 453. We could go higher, but wouldn't surprise me if Nancy knew that the government was writing a big contract with Palo Alto Networks and that they were about to go full crazy move. I bought some shares because shares don't run out of time. Nancy went out to January 25, deep in the money. She spent about $1.2 million buying her calls. Went deep in the money at 200. Gives her like an 85 delta, I think. So right now they're moving, when this moves $1, her calls are moving 85 cents. As they get deeper in the money, they'll be closer to 1-to-1. And if you look at what she did for NVDA and lots of other trades before, that seems to be the way she likes to play. She'll buy deep in the money stuff, just go long, no fancy anything, just buys deep in the money calls. She can claim those calls if she wants, or just sell them in the market. Coin going on the breakout here. Didn't pull back enough for me to trigger any of my entries. So just smile and wave and watch it go. I'm not going to chase that at this point. It may very well go up to the target. I made a good chunk of money on this way back here. And no FOMO, no fear of missing out. Like, it didn't hit my criteria for entry. Congratulations if you've jumped on it. I'm just going to sit and wait. LGND. At the point, we were having this conversation in Discord yesterday, at the point where you can have the patience to wait for your setups and the discipline to take action when they actually set up, that becomes very powerful and liberating. And your small account value, if you have a small account value, whatever, the account value becomes a moot point, as Kimberly likes to say. It's a cow's opinion, it doesn't matter. But Alpha Friends, it's really becomes irrelevant that you have a small account or a big account. The money just starts coming once you start clicking on this stuff. So keep following me, trying to take you along for the ride. Looks like we got lots of pharmaceutical medtech stuff popping today. That one's dropping. Ouch. LABU. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's just, you're talking about the heat map. It's on the product page right here. Stock screeners. Wrong button. Products, screeners, heat maps right there for TradingView. It's just tradingview.com. Products, screeners, heat maps. Heat map, not roadmap. Heat map. Hey, LABU breaking out there. Could it run? I would be very, very, very cautious. It's only a 3-wave type move so far. Very small pullback. Say maybe 220. If you're chasing that one, that's 3x leverage. Netflix. I really want to see this one pull back again. Could we just rally on up and crush the prior high? Sure. I would like to see it do another retrace after that huge extension there. And it's just been grinding right at that 786. It's grinding below it, grinding, popping into it. I really want to see that retrace. I really do. To get me interested in going long again. If in fact we retrace back to that gap fill zone back in here, I've got my alert down here. Let's pull it up just a little bit. I'm going to be back to 515 or so. Highly interested in going for this. I got off at 550 on the earnings pop. Just been grinding. If we retrace here, we can go again. BKCH. Global X Blockchain ETF. Looks like we're heading on up to the target, 62. Potentially get a little reaction to the prior high. Tesla right there. Trying to gap fill. Trying. Working on the gap fill. If we can get up through, if we get above this nasty, if we get above this right here, this nasty garbly gook right there, Tesla can break free. Got to fill that gap though. It's still up there. I'm going to send an alert on it. 208 roughly. And I just misspelled filled. Beautiful. Zoom is choppy sideways garbage. Do not mess with this. Look at this. Hadn't been able to get out of its own way. PUBM. Sounds like a bad joke. I guess it's all on how you pronounce it. Sorry, that's my inner teenage boy coming out there. 2250. And reasonable. 2250. Let's see right there. Yeah, coming into resistance. We may see it climb up to that. If it's gonna, we may react here, but probably come up in here. Maybe 25. Not a huge mover. Royal Caribbean. The intern was really hyped up on Royal Caribbean. I taught him the market roadmap system. So far, he was really interested in this one. But look right here. So far, the drop, the retrace 618. They can get continuation down lower. Third move would not surprise me. All we're talking about is an echo of that move right there. BEAM, Beam Therapeutics. That's on biotech. Biotechs are popping today for some reason. And 1, 2, 3. Come out to resistance. Probably have some resistance in this zone. Maybe a reaction. It looks like a pretty horrible chart. I'm not going to lie. That looks like typical bubble stuff right there. So here's the question. Did SMCI do this part or did it do this part? I don't know. I'm thinking we did the second part because all we need is the flush. All we need is the flush. All right, where even was I? I don't even remember. Beam, IFBD. Ugh, gross. I don't like that pattern. I had a reverse split in there too. Gross. Kava. Snapping back out of the earnings. Possibly making a higher high. It's just it's more like an echo pullback. We could definitely see. Interesting. That could extend quite a bit here. The reaction out of Kava maybe setting up for a run up to 64, 65 area. NTES. It's just been kind of a little bit gnarly. It looks like we're possibly going to break out here. Get above that. Sets the stage for 128. BITX, as I mentioned before, it's going full ridiculous. 45, 49, 60, 67. Ridiculous levels on the up above that. Mora. And tag the resistance. Retrace. Pop that 35 maybe. We'll see. came up, tagged, retraced, classic. The next move, if we're going to hold that, I expect that. Otherwise, we start breaking down. Come on down. LI. Wow. Playing in the box. That was we may break out. If we do, 52, 59 on the upside might be the resistance. CLSK, popping on Bitcoin popping. Fib ladder on up 25, 32, 36. Could this one go crazy? Yeah, it could. Smuckers. Looks bearish to me. Here's the low, here's the high. Support right here. We get below that. Probably coming down here. If we can break above here. There's the potential for this to be a measured bounce. I want to throw that out there. If we come down in this support zone, in fact, I'm going to send an alert because this would be pretty sweet. Sweet like jelly. 152. If we bounce and go, get above the roadmap line. So if this comes down here and bounces and pops up, be interested in getting in that for that move right there. ALB. That one can't get out of its own way. ARKB. Look at that. It's a Bitcoin ETF right there. None of them have options so far. If they're going to print options, Thursdays or Fridays is probably when they're going to come out. They're probably not going to come out on a Monday. So new options are usually created Thursday, Friday. Usually Thursdays. Depends on the holiday. Like if there's a holiday weekend, they do them weird. But usually if we're going to have options on IBIT and FBTC and ARKB, all these ARKB, all these new spot ETFs, probably Thursday if they're gonna launch them. And the CBOE will actually report new options listings. Let's come over here. Google search. I got this like bookmarked on. There we go. New options listings. So here's all the ones that are like hodls on the list. Scheduled for. Those are just equities, looks like. Looking for options. They'll show up here when they get options on these lists. But right now, nothing. Nothing. Snow keeps churning. I don't know. This whole move up off the lows looks not very bullish to me. I would really like to see this flush one more time. We may see upside resistance at 243, possibly 276 before we get another violent flush. If we can make a move down here, I'll be interested in long-term getting long, but not right now for me. That's one of those things about having the patience to wait for the setup. They pay off handsomely. That one, not chasing it right now. If it just goes ripping, oh well. There'll be another one come along next week, next month, next year. I don't know. Always something new, always something different. That's the way the market works. It's always moving. The money in the market's always moving. So it's always presenting opportunities. Carvana right up to the 1618, right off the roadmap line bounce. That was a beautiful setup. don't necessarily expect it to go higher, but 97, 108 above that before we get another one of these retraces. ELF, we need the retrace to get long again. ELF right up to the 272. Look at that ridiculous. Talk about one. I got into this one. I did not buy enough time. Ran out of time, and it did exactly. In fact, it kicked off alerts like right there. See my alert right there, 200. That was exactly where I thought it was going to go. I set that alert back there when I got in. Ran out of time on my options. That's why I started, you're like, JT, why do you play shares sometimes? Sometimes, this is one of the ones that convinced me to start playing more shares, honestly. Ran out of time, and I was bummed out because look at that. It's not a FOMO thing. It's just a lesson learned thing. GBTC. Sometimes when you're super unsure about the time frame, GBTC popping, of course. That one has history because it was a trust. Now it's a spot ETF. That one may be on the way up to 72, possibly 89. DPZ. Yeah, look at that. Turning red. Like to see that do a big flush. That's a corrective move up. 1, 2, 3. Watch out for that to go lower. Possibly down to 200. There's opportunity there. That is a big potential downside move. Just saying. $250 down. Might take a while though. Make sure you got enough time. Could take a while. And MU popping up. Target 92, 96 above that. FBTC we already talked about. Basically making a high. Can't really chart that. I'm not going to be able to chart these new spot ETFs for a while. It takes 169 days just to start the roadmap line. And there's just no reason to chase new stuff. XBI. And ETFs aren't IPOs. So my IPO thing, even though these all made lower lows, my bearish IPO thing doesn't carry forward through ETFs. XBI popped out, back tested, launching at right there. May very well be on the way up to a 110 area right up here. Right up here. BTCO. There's another spot ETF just chopping. DLNI. No, I don't suggest any spot ETFs. They all have high costs for me. I'm not holding spot ETFs. I'll trade them, but I'm not holding them. DNLI, another therapeutic biotech. Come on. PDD. Impossible. Possible hold on to support here. High or low. If we break above this high. I've already got an alert. If we break above this high right here, that gap fill. And it's a whole zone at this point. Above that, I've got my alert there at the 618, 161, 172. This is actually one of the better China internet things. I mean, look at Baba. Not nearly as bullish, but trying really hard. Baidu trying really hard. Still long that one. Still long Baidu. Still has a huge upside potential. AMH. It's an interesting one. It's like a competitor with VRBO and Airbnb. Real estate investment trust competitor. So he's got some resistance there and choppy sideways. Decliners, SMCI. Come on, baby. Accelerate. Got Lily. It was a decliner. Now it's right back where it was. And it really could use a retrace. Just like NVDA, just like all the ridiculously toppy stuff. WDA. MB, it depends on. So like, let's talk about it briefly. And look down here. Do you want to pay somebody 75.75% and you pay this daily? Do you want to pay this expense ratio to hold your Bitcoin? Just go hold Bitcoin. All right. If you don't want to hold just Bitcoin and you expect it to go up, play this baby. I mean, you're going to pay a 1.85, but at least you get 2x the upside. If you're going to play an ETF, I mean, let's play with fire. So, Bitcoin doesn't pay a dividend. Bitcoin, I mean, so you gotta pick your weapon of choice here. BITQ, and that could pop. That's more on the industry innovators. That's more miners and stuff like that. So, what's your goals? And you can go to BITO. They have a 0.95 expense ratio. I play options on this one because there's options available, and that gives you 10x leverage. But the move is muted here. While we may see, I bought $10 calls when we were down here. $10 and $15 calls. Those are deep in the money now. And they're out a ways. I'm expecting this thing to pop up. But look, we're not a lot of dollars off of the all-time high, but this one is a large percentage off the all-time high. So the expense ratio has eaten this one, it looks like. So we're 70% away from all-time high here. We got that. Delete that. Look right here. We're 20% off the all-time high, roughly. So make sure you there's absolutely decay. There's decay on everything. But in the short term, it's not going to matter. In the long term, watch out. I'm just now getting a piece of roadmap line on BitX. I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to take advantage of the power of Bitcoin without buying options, there's a 2x leverage. Leverage is highly dangerous. I'm not saying to buy this, but if you wanted to play, you don't mind lighting that money on fire in your fire pit, just go to somewhere where you get some bang for your buck. All right. Otherwise, IBIT, FBTC. I mean, just pick your weapon. Fidelity. I'd probably pick Fidelity and IBIT, but they both have expense ratios. Bitcoin might get a reaction, so you can just go buy Bitcoin too. But there's more leverage ways to play. So it's all about what do you want for bang for your buck? What's your risk tolerance? Hess, choppy sideways, WDA. Looks like it needs a retrace back to the roadmap line. Unity. Sideways. Sideways. It's at the bottom of the box too. 4. Roadmap line. NVO. It's in the channel. It may pop top of the channel. If Lily starts down, this one will probably start down too. Amgen, or if that one starts down, Lily will probably start down. Amgen, back to the roadmap line. Opportunity to watch for a bounce. Let's clear this up. Basically tagged my upside, long-term upside target, so be very careful. I don't want to see above 312. Looking for 344, 362. Lows. Hey, it was dropping, now it's popping. Trying to break out. Doing something different than B maybe coming over here. Watch out. This is still corrective looking, not impulsive at all. Could it go higher high? Sure. APLS coming into that gap resistance, and it's a biotech pharma. PRGO. PRGO looks like a dumpster fire in the making. Down, down, down. Where's the bottom? Don't try to knife catch it. Cut your account, bloody you up. Crocs. Resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. Unclear. Unclear on the pattern at the moment. We could bounce down. Be careful. CRG. Car Gurus. Probably needs a retrace. Could be getting bullish, but choppy. All right, that's the list for today. So be careful out there. I will be live 30 minutes of awesome tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern. Setting an alarm on your clock, on your phone. You know, turn your phone, turn your calendar, set alarm, set alert. 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll take your requests for at least 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes. And it's been going at least an hour lately. So come join me. I'll do your request. You bring your ticker. I'll review it. And otherwise, I'll be in Discord all day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time.